Do you need encouragement to turn tragedies into your own triumphant life story? If so, this podcast is for you. Listen to powerful guests who have persevered through challenges so you can gain strength to build your championship life. The host of Professor of Perseverance podcast, Dr. James Perdue.
Hey, come on in. It's time for us to get started. Time for us to find some inspiration, motivation, some little gold nugget that you can hang on to, that you can use to get you through your next trials and tribulations. All right, today we're going to talk with our guest, and she had a little rough, and some of us do growing up, right? Lost mom and dad early in life. She was deciding it's time for her to move on in a different life. And so she's going to talk how she was able to get out of all this and give us some messages so we can all move on. Pay it forward. Pay it to give it to somebody else out to help them. So welcome to the show, Malisa Hepner.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming on. And you are a proud podcast host yourself. And
I
again,
am.
what's the name of your podcast?
It's called Emotionally Unavailable.
Emotionally Unavailable. That's about all of us, isn't it?
It is. That's why the show is called that. Good job.
There we go. All right. So you early in age, you lost mom, lost dad. Lost dad first, then mom, and then some other stuff come up, and wow, you decided it was time to move on to another world. But then you talked yourself out of it.
Yep.
All right.
I did.
You put us where we need to start and from there.
Well, basically, after surviving an extensive history of childhood trauma, but not realizing that that's what had happened. Like I hit 18 and I was like, I don't know. I don't think my childhood really affected me because I wasn't living the life that my siblings were living. Like I have several half siblings, but for the context of this conversation, I'm just referencing the two brothers that I was raised with. And one is a year older, one is a year younger. I'm smack dab in the middle, and they made very different choices. I was the golden child of my system. So I did everything I could to earn love and belonging. And that made me look like on the outside, everything was fine. And I was kind of explicitly told that is the metrics or the measure of how to determine how someone's doing is, are they making good grades? Are they, having good social, the things that we look to determine how someone's doing. And I think, just as a little tangent side note, we're really doing a disservice to ourselves and others when that's the metrics that we use instead of just saying, how are you doing? But I was raised in a really toxic family system. So fast forward, I think I'm fine. about 16 or 17, I learned about trauma outside of the scope of like veterans and PTSD, because that at that point, honestly, that is the only thing I had ever heard in a relation to trauma was about veterans and PTSD. Then I get this information that I also have PTSD and complex PTSD at that. So I was like, oh, what a beautiful like awakening at that moment, because it made so many things make sense. Finally, I understood some of what I was doing and why I was doing it. And I was, again, a part of a very toxic system. And I was carrying on a lot of those toxic traits. I had a lot of like narcissistic traits from being raised by a narcissistic caregiver. So I'm understanding that I have trauma. I don't know what to do with it. So then fast forward more, I reach burnout in every area of my life. I'm miserable. I have no idea that I am the center of all this conflict. I feel very victimized without even realizing it. And I don't know. I just got to a place where I really believed that primarily that my kids would be better off without a psychotic mother. And when I say psychotic, I mean, yes, I would lose my temper easily, and yes, this and yes, that, but like, I wasn't that bad. what was happening is I was holding myself to this perfectionist standard. And I thought that this promise that I made to myself, that truly my brothers and I made with each other and for ourselves and future families, that we were going to do it differently. Because the reason that my parents died is they were addicts. And I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to carry on that toxic trait. And that's a lot of what my brothers did. And so I thought it meant I have to be perfect. Like I'm otherworldly in the expectations. So really deciding to stay another day just meant trying to figure out how I'm going to live this life. Like that's really what happened was, okay, I'm not going to die. I mean, really the only reason I didn't is because my oldest kid's birthday was just a couple weeks away from when I made the decision. And then I was like, well, that's not a good time. So I kind of just set a date for months and months away. But the second I did that, it took the pressure off and I kind of just decided I was going to live. But I mean, thankfully it happened when it did, because I wasn't going to do that around my kid's birthday. But
so, yeah, I've interviewed a couple other women, and they had been on the suicide mission. And anybody, again, if you're suicidal, you need some help, dial it's 98. I think 988. Yeah. And ask for, you don't have to tell them your name, but be honest with them.
Yes.
So they can help you. Okay. If you want to be John Blow for whatever else, do that, but just be honest with what's causing your situation and for you to think that way so they can help you. But I had a couple other women that basically said same thing. They couldn't do it because of their children. Yeah. They didn't want their children to be left with this stigma and things like that. And, too close to your one's birthday that for them to, my birthday is going to remember this
right
all the time. And so basically their child, saved their life. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because the way my kids' birthdays are staggered, it was like birthday in November, then there would be Thanksgiving, then Christmas, then birthday in March, birthday in June. So I literally picked a date in August. And I mean, I guess I wasn't thinking back to school, which is something I would normally worry about, but I was just desperate. You know what I mean? And I was just in this place of profound darkness that did not feel like I was going to be able to get any sort of light back in my life. I just kept hearing they're better off without you. And then when I decided to live, it was like, I'm not really any better than I was 2 days ago. So how am I going to do this? So for me, not having any of the information, I kind of just started moving pieces in my life. I knew I was going to need to leave the job I was in, and I knew I was going to need to make a couple of other changes, but in the moment, I was still exactly who I was when I made that decision. But now I've made the decision to live. So how? And literally it was just like, I'm going to get creative. I created some children's books and learned the entire publishing process from A to Z and published those myself. I did a journal. I did lots of creative things that would take me out of my brain, because that was the first thing I learned. I just had to learn how to quiet the noise.
Yep. And I found that, and don't get me wrong, I've written a couple of books and everything, but to me, my writing is more therapeutic for me. But you find out it helps other people too.
Yeah, our stories matter for sure.
Yeah, just to get this stuff out, was therapeutic for me. Okay, and yeah, because I'm saying something that I don't want to tell my family for them to worry about me.
Right.
And so you put it out there, and then again, like you said, your story is going to help somebody else's, and they're going to help somebody later on. So,
absolutely. Yeah. I just kind of, I learned to quiet the noise, and I started my podcast. I had always wanted to do something like that. And for about 3 years, I'd really been toying with the idea. And then I really wanted to do it with someone else, because I thought I wasn't interesting enough to have a show of my own. And then I was just like, well, this is kind of our free pass. Like, we lived when we decided we didn't want to. So like now, like, if you're going to be alive, just go do whatever the hell you want,
That's
so
right,
I did.
That's right.
And I started my show, and honestly, meeting the people that I have met on my show, that was the gateway to all of it. I meet so many people. And I happened upon this person, because I'm sure you remember from the early days, it's hard to get guests at first unless you know about a place like Podmatch, but I didn't. And so I found this lady on my Facebook, on the people you may know section. And I was like, I figured I thought I knew the connection, so I just went to look, and she only had one public post, and the one post really spoke to me. So I asked her to come on my show, and she did, and that was the beginning of life-altering information, because she is a therapist in Arizona who works for a guy named Troy Love, who wrote the book Finding Peace Workbook.
Okay.
And that was it. Like, I then learned how to quiet the noise in my brain. And that was the first huge step. Then through like meeting a lot of other people, spiritual people, astrology people, whatever, I'm just kind of learning how to expand my consciousness and to stop hurting my own feelings all the time, and learning along with the stuff from that Finding Peace workbook, how to uncover my shame, how to quiet my shame, understanding my wounding, just learning that like I'm the problem. I'm the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. One thing about my podcast, this is my third attempt. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, my very first one years ago, very first one, I'm like you, I was going to do it all by myself. All
Uh-huh.
right, here, everybody got some. And then I got tired of talking because I got tired of running out what to say. And then I'm
Mm-hmm.
then going, well, I don't know how many people was acting, because back then it was harder to figure out all your
Your
download
metrics,
subscribers,
yeah.
all the
Mm-hmm.
analysis, yeah. And so, and I'm going, well, I'm tired of doing this, and I don't know if anything's happening or not. So I quit. So then I came back and thought, well, I'll do just like stories, I'll go read motivational stories, be done in 5 minutes. That got old real quick. And then I
Mm-hmm.
said, so finally I said, the reason I started this one the way I did is because I had attempted suicide
Okay.
3 times in 3 days.
Oh,
Three times in three. That's how bad I wanted out.
honey,
And
for real. My
yeah,
God.
and so I was in the hospital for 7 weeks, and of course, when you live through a suicide attempt, they make you see a psychiatrist.
Oh, they sure do, honey. They sure do.
and so
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
and so he was the one that recommended me writing a book that I had a story to tell, and
Oh,
then later started YouTube, and then like I said, I experimented with the other 2 podcasts, and then this one I said, my story can only go so far, but what if I can get other people out here to get their story, and maybe we can help other people, get their message out, and that's how I started mine. So
absolutely. Oh, I love that. I love that. That story is so familiar. Like, well, first of all, I think the more podcasters I meet, the more I like just find the similarities in all of us.
yeah.
Like my buddy Pete, I shout him out a lot. I don't know if you've met him, Pete versus Anxiety. I think you'd love him. You guys would get along really well. But I think we all had this desperate need to feel seen and heard. I know I had a real theme of feeling silenced because I struggled with that too
Hmm.
much, not enough thing that most of us do. Like, you're too much and not enough all at the same time. Great. And yeah, so my background's in social work. I used to be a full-time hospice social worker. I did a short stint in
Oh
a
wow.
hospital. I just didn't like it because it was just discharge planning and I hated that. But I was one of the people that had to go talk to somebody after they attempted. And most of the time they lied and said, oh, no, we'd get the no. I mean, you know what? I'm not even going to say what I was going to say, but they would lie and be like, no, this was an accident or this was
Yeah.
whatever. It was always amazing to me to see the people who are truly devastated that they survived, and really just honest and authentic, because they don't care. They know what you're going to do. They know that you're going to lock them up for the 72 hours and the things. But I learned a lot in that really short amount of time about what a person has to be feeling to actually, because I've never had an attempt. That was the closest I had ever come. I made an
Hmm.
actual plan. But before that, it was all very generalized. So being exposed to people who had actually attempted, honestly, I think it helped me for a while,
Yeah. Oh,
like
yeah. Oh,
it
yeah.
puts
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
in perspective a little bit. So I think that I was really blown away by the experience. But then after all of this, so I got licensed years ago, but like probably like 5 years ago. But um after leaving I went to education from hospice, and then I became a therapist. So I haven't had anybody, I haven't had anyone with any active ideation, but it's, I think anybody, even though I didn't attempt, I think anybody who's really sat in that darkness, like there's a connection between us. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I mean, because you're that so low in life,
Yeah.
and again,
Yeah.
you think no one's paying attention to you. You'll be better off. They'll be better off without you. And yeah, you're so low, and I remember this. I was teaching and coaching at that time, and
Mm-hmm.
the family members in the stands after a game would ask me questions, and main thing I say, you just need to pray for me. Is what I'll tell.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
but their suggestion, and this is a lot of people. Well, you just need to get over it and move on.
Oh, well, that's what we're all told our entire lives.
Yeah,
Rub some
and
dirt on it, walk it off.
it's not that easy.
If
you
it
know
were, we would have done it. Like that's the
exactly.
thing. But that's why my show is called what it is, because this is what we do. When somebody tells us something like that and it's heavy, we don't know how to hold that. And we are very uncomfortable because it brings up so much in us. Well, we're very used to squashing our own stuff. So then we're going to squash your stuff too. And then you get this depressed person who's just gotten their whole narrative confirmed, which is I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders and no one to help me. We do this over and over and over. And this is I'll say has been the human experience. I'm seeing the changes. I'm seeing the difference. I'm meeting people. That's what I'm doing. I'm out here showing people how to truly experience feelings so that you can move through it, because it is not the feelings that are the problem. It's the stories that we attach to them. It's the way we can't
Exactly.
control our mind.
That's right. So,
Mhm.
hey, I can not want to throw a whole lot on you, but your podcast, Emotionally Unavailable, I can see you just doing a second one. Again, not throw a whole lot on you, and it just called Quieten the Voice Within.
Ooh, I like that. No, I've actually been trying to find someone to do a second. I do 3 episodes a week, but I've been trying to figure out. Okay, I guess this is a better way to put it. I've been feeling very led to start another one with another person.
Yeah.
But I like that suggestion because I haven't felt a real like solid understanding of what that would look like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, yeah, I just says I can hear the passion in your voice with what you're doing, and it's greatly appreciated because again, there's plenty of people out there that are denying what's going on
Absolutely.
when they really want to open up, but they don't want to open up to the wrong person, and they don't know
Right.
who to open up to.
But let me tell you this. This is what I noticed. Almost everyone's going to be the wrong person if they're in your circle. And let me
Yeah.
explain that. Because if you are in deep darkness, you have very likely, I'm only putting it that way to disarm you, but I'm going to tell you, you have with utmost certainty, you have surrounded yourself with a lot of people who are emotionally unavailable and don't know how to show up for you. And the reason we do that is because a long time ago, we told our brain that's how we're safe. And so, what our brain is designed to do is not to feel. It is designed to keep us alive, and it's going to feed you catastrophe after catastrophe after catastrophe so that you feel very unsafe to leave any boundary. So, what I noticed is, I've surrounded myself with a bunch of people who don't want to show up for me. I have designed my life to be the center of everyone else's life. Like, I'm like, let me fix you. Let me help you. Oh, I'm good. How are you? Oh, yeah. Let me fix all your stuff. So I never have to think about mine. And I don't even have to attempt to have you help me carry this.
Mm-hmm.
And why? Just to have it confirmed to me over and over and over that I don't have anyone. Because if I do that, then I stop trying and my brain feels really safe. But the truth is, I have people, but I have to learn how to center myself when they say stuff that upsets me, whether it's good feedback or bad feedback. I have to learn how to take unsolicited advice. I have to learn how to look past my own stuff and see how I'm the center of this problem. There's so many things I have to do. And so my brain says, you know what, honey? No one shows up for you. No one cares about you. It's all you. It's all you. It's all you. Because that's what keeps me alive, apparently. But I have to break through that stuff every day. I mean, even now, we're about a year, about 15 months in to this journey of like solid, just goodness, right? I'm just now able to talk to people in real time when I'm struggling, to cry to them, to say, I need help, to tell them exactly what's going on in my life. There's been so many like things, like when my dad died, I wouldn't even cry in front of people because that's vulnerable. We don't,
Oh yeah.
I had to be
Yeah.
strong at all times because that was my identity. And now it's still a practice. I just turned 45 yesterday. So like I'm
All right.
learning
Happy
still.
birthday.
Thank you. I'm
You're
learning how to
just a
do
baby.
this.
You're just a baby. I just turned 61 Thursday, a
Oh
week,
my gosh. I
week
knew you
ago.
were a Gemini. I knew it.
There we go. That's why we're
Happy late
connecting,
birthday.
baby.
Exactly. I knew it. I knew it the second we started talking. I said he's Gemini. I could tell. But because most of us podcast hosts are.
There you go.
We want to
So,
talk, dang it.
yeah, this great. Again, like you're saying is, have you noticed? And it's not everybody, but I would say a majority. The people that get that way are the strong one of their group.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
because everybody's coming to them, and we get overwhelmed with everything because we want to help everybody as much as we
Right.
can, and we
Right.
neglect our own emotions, feelings, well
Oh,
kept health,
absolutely.
physically, emotionally, mentally, and that's why we get down that rabbit hole.
Well, we lie to ourselves too and say
Amen.
that we
Yes.
don't have anyone to hold this stuff because it's scary to ask them to. But what I learned is like, I'm running around loving everyone in the way that I truly want to be loved, but I'm not telling anyone. But while I'm doing that, I'm creating this social contract full of expectations. So if I do this, they're going to do this, and we're all going to be so lovey. Okay, well, that other person wasn't even aware that we just signed this contract in both of our bloods. And so they're going to let me down. And when they do, what am I going to do? I'm going to feel the ultimate betrayal. And let me tell you something. I was feeling betrayed from the time I woke up till the time I went to sleep, every minute of every day of my life. Betrayal and neglect are my two hugest wounds because I had very inconsistent caregivers and they didn't know how to walk me through emotional developmental milestones. So you get that, and you get like just the normal heartbreak that children receive. Every one of us as humans go through one really transformative moment, oftentimes with our dad, but can be with mom too, can be both, where we are hit with the very stark reality that they are not in fact superhuman. They're very, very, very just human, and they are fallible and they make mistakes. And it's a shock to our sense of safety because when they're superhuman, they can lift a car off of us. They can save us from a robber. They can do all the things that we sit around worrying. Literally, I did worry about those things all the time. They can fix all that. But when they're human, they're like me. They're not any bigger, better, badder, or stronger than me. So how am I supposed to reconcile that? How do I ever feel safe again in this world when I literally have nobody bigger, better, badder, or stronger than me to help me? That's a childlike view, but we're all struggling with that inner child. That's truly what I believe, is that we've been disillusioned by the expectations that we created, but we created them for ourselves, for the people around us, and for this experience in general, and broke our own hearts when none of those expectations were met.
Yeah, it's hard to fulfill yourself again when you think of so highly of the others. And like you said, when we finally realize they're just human like us, it's kind of a letdown.
It's
Uh,
such a letdown.
yeah,
It really is. And you know what? The better you get at saying that and understanding, because I didn't understand why I could kind of recognize that betrayal feeling, but I'm like embarrassed still to tell people that what a psycho I was. But like if somebody didn't take my unsolicited advice, betrayed. If they took someone else's side, betrayed. If they liked someone else's opinion more than mine, betrayed. I could kind of recognize the feeling, but it didn't make sense to me. So I was embarrassed. I shoved it down and I reacted in anger. Now I'm so aware of anytime neglect, betrayal, rejection, abandonment, anytime that stuff comes up, I'm really aware of it. So I can just say, oh, wow, okay, betrayal just came up again. What the crap? And work through that. But it used to be like, you betrayed me. And you just have to
Yeah.
learn the difference. It's just a perspective shift.
Yeah, that's what it is. And it's all this stuff we're all going to go through. It's just how we deal with it.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So, hey, I like your mission statement. You said you're on a mission for a global impact to show others how to quiet the noise. Again, second podcast, quiet the noise within and connect to self and embody the light. So
Mm-hmm.
I like that mission statement.
Thank you.
So, um, yeah, that's it. And I'm all, we joked a little bit not joked, but mentioned it. But
Yeah.
I'm all into the paying it forward. You know, there's somebody out there that's experienced this stuff and they don't know how to get out of it. And
Mm-hmm.
so the old ripple effect, if you want to call it, in the rock in the lake and the ripple, however you want to put it. So my big thing I tell people here that they claim everything on the internet is going to be here forever and ever and ever now. So, Melissa, when 100 years from now, somebody's going to be down and out and depressed, they're going to find this and you're going to help them get through in 100 years from now. So it means you'll be what, 142?
145, brother.
145. So helping them out. So, all right. Yeah, but according to everything will be here. So somewhere, somehow, it's going to get picked up again.
Yeah. And I always tell my clients, like, when you change, the world around you changes. And truly that's how the ripple works, is that we learn and we grow and we become the light that we couldn't find before. And you just walk into any space and you impact that space. Like, I am a totally different parent now than I was before. And I know I'm impacting these children very powerfully now, like
Yeah.
I'm much more in the shaman era with my children than I am controlling or thinking I have any real say in their lives. I mean, I'm sorry, but I don't. So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be the light. And I just think our energy becomes so much more light and airy and beautiful. And then of course the people around us are changed by that. And then they go take their new light and they share it with others. I do feel lucky. I have had this particular thing as what felt like my purpose since early childhood, less than 5 years old. And it's looked different as I've aged. Each decade has been a different way of me impacting the world. But, deciding to live meant daily overcoming any fear of being seen. So I'm just putting myself out there to try to get the most impact possible.
Well, I think you're doing an excellent job at it. So
Thank
you're
you so
doing great.
much.
I can feel your passion on what you're doing here, and I
Thank
truly
you.
appreciate it. So
Yeah.
so all right, Melissa, we're down to our little part of the world here at the end of it. So, but if you please throw all your social media, any workshops or anything you got going on, again, throw us out that podcast, Emotionally Unavailable.
Yep. Okay, so my show is Emotionally Unavailable. I'm very active on Instagram at Malisa.Hepner. My name is spelled differently. So make sure you look at that. But I have a link tree on there that'll get you to the link to my YouTube, which it's mostly audio right now. I'm learning to upload videos on YouTube. It's kind of a pain, my bad. But it's got my Apple, my Spotify on there. It's got links to workbooks that I've created, my books. My website has cute little merch I've just, designed. So just take a little look, see whatever speaks to your spirit.
And we'll put these links in the show notes to make it easier for people to come click and find you.
Thank
So,
you.
again, man, you have definitely lifted me up today.
Good.
I appreciate it. One thing we talked about me doing this and helping getting other people's message out there. Usually, I wouldn't say 100% of the time, but I would say about 99% that I'm the first one that they've intrigued and motivated. So that y'all, all of y'all are putting, like I said, I can't say 100. There's one or two. I'm not mentioning no names.
I get it. I get it. I get it. I just
names.
had one of those this morning, brother.
Yeah, so
No, I get it, and
yeah.
I actually get as much out of all of that. Like I've been going through something with my older brother, and I was having a very tired morning, and I was like, no, it's gonna be fine. After my interview, I already know I'm gonna be energized and feel good. So thank you.
There
This
we
came
go.
along at a perfect time, so I got just as much. I promise.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yep, it works out. What's the old thing? Iron sharpens iron.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
from
so
there.
right.
Yeah,
Gemini
so
sharpens Gemini.
there we go. All right. So appreciate you coming on there and thing and sharing with us. And again, I'll put all this links and stuff on in the show notes for everybody to find it. Hey, be sure to share
Absolutely.
us out with someone that can use a little help. And Melissa, she's there for you. For everyone else, I'm Dr. James Purdue, the professor of perseverance. Do something today, tomorrow, something next week. Before I get off here, we mentioned I started my podcast 2 other times and didn't. We're in the 5th year of this one. Okay, just started on my birthday last week, number 5 years. So
Good
we've definitely hung
job.
in because of Melissa, people like you and others come before you and others coming after you is the reason we've gone 5 years, because y'all keep inspiring me to do this.
That's
So,
amazing.
all right, everybody else, do something today, tomorrow, something next week. It's going to help you persevere past your paralysis.